I read one time, like, would you rather be at war with yourself and at peace with the world, or at peace with yourself and at war with the world? And that was powerful.
Yo.
Hey.
Welcome back to another episode of The Bronze Room.
What's going on?
It's been a minute, but
Yes,
this
it
is
has.
your host, one half of your hosts, Chris Reese.
Yes, sir. And this is the other half, Mr. Chris McKinley. Welcome, y'all. Welcome back. It's been a while.
Yeah, welcome back. We're glad to have you here sitting with us once again on this fine Monday evening, April the 24th. Was it? I have no idea what day it is,
25th.
to be honest. Is it the 25th?
25th,
I'm
yeah.
surprised I was that close.
Yeah.
I threw out a number.
For real, though, I mean, this month has gone by so fast.
Yeah, it really has. Really
crazy.
has. Last week was Easter.
Yeah. How was your Easter?
Easter was good. It was good. It was spent with good people. Spent in church and with the church community.
Okay.
And celebrating over some tacos and churros.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah,
Not traditional, but I like that.
Not traditional at all, but
Yeah.
but hey, I'm all about kind of stepping outside the box.
Mixing it up a little bit.
So
That's
yeah,
all right.
it was a great day.
Nice.
What about yourself?
Mine was it was a little bit more traditional. Of course, you got to start it off with church, right? So I mean, that's what the holiday's all about. You know, got to give God His due.
1,000%.
Yes, sir. And then after that, just went over, hung out with the family, had some great food. My dad cooked. He threw down as always, man. Like if you ever get a chance, you've had my dad's cooking.
I have.
Yeah, man, he throws down.
He does.
That was such a treat. So shout out to my dad for making Easter dinner. It was amazing.
Yeah, he's from Louisiana, right?
Yeah, he's from the South. He's from down south Louisiana.
So that's that
Shreveport.
Cajun influence
Yes,
in a lot of
sir.
that cooking,
Yes,
I'm
sir.
sure.
Absolutely, yeah. So, man, we really enjoyed that. He really threw down. We had traditional Easter food, not really traditional like Southern food.
Okay.
Of course, we had the greens, right? So,
All right. What is traditional Easter food?
well, a lot of times, I mean, it's like ham.
Is that traditional Easter food?
I guess. I mean, I'm assuming. Like, what would you consider traditional Easter food?
I associate ham with Christmas.
Yeah, same. Or Thanksgiving.
Like Christmas ham.
Or Thanksgiving ham.
That too.
Right.
But if
Easter
a ham
ham.
had to be birthday ham,
Birthday ham, exactly.
Tuesday ham,
7 o'clock ham. That's what
but yeah, I associate ham with Christmas in particular because I think there's probably a Christmas story of some sort that talks about Christmas ham. Turkey is for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that's true.
Easter, I'm pressed to think of an example of Easter specific food
Well, yeah, I was gonna say
besides eggs.
Yeah, eggs like deviled eggs, regular eggs. That's true.
Do people eat deviled eggs on Easter?
We do.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a hell of a contradiction.
Why do you say that? Oh,
Deviled eggs
I just
on
got
the
that.
resurrection of Jesus?
You know what? I don't. Well, see,
We need to do away with that tradition, brother.
That's what you say.
See. Now that's what they want you to do.
Is invite the devil into your house on Easter. Can I get an amen? I've never actually made that connection
That's
before.
very interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
such a juxtaposition. You have a deviled eggs on Easter, on the Lord's Day. That's
desecrating
funny.
it.
Just desecrating. Well, you could make the argument that you're having deviled eggs in spite of.
See, now I like that.
In spite of.
In spite
In
of.
spite of everything that he's done. All right, man, you make me start preaching that, bro.
Yeah, okay. So deviled eggs,
Yeah,
eggs in
deviled
general,
eggs, eggs in
chocolate
general,
eggs,
chocolate eggs.
Easter egg hunt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Okay.
Easter eggs hunt. We didn't. I didn't get to stick around for the Easter egg hunt. I had some other pressing things I had to take care of. But did you guys get a chance to do an Easter egg hunt?
I think they did, but I had left by then.
Okay.
Yeah, I grubbed and kind of got on out of there.
Hey, sometimes that's what you got to do, man. Yeah.
I helped to clean up though. So,
Okay, that part right there. Don't be the guest that just eats and dashes, bro. Because that's not. That's the worst kind of guest.
Yeah, man. thank you for the food.
I'm
Appreciate
glad
you.
And then you take a to-go plate, too.
Right.
I can't tell. This was so good. I see y'all next year. Don't come around for 300.
One more year.
Right.
1 year later.
Yeah.
1 year later. That's funny.
Yeah, it's hella funny, man.
What else has transpired over the past couple of weeks since our last podcast? I got a chance to go to this Sucker Factory.
Yes, absolutely.
Event.
Yeah, how was that?
1 week after our podcast there at the Sucker Factory. It was good. I got a chance to chat with our boy Nathan again. Got to chat with some other friends. I met a couple of mutual friends there.
Okay.
So that was cool.
Cool. So people like you actually knew?
That I knew outside of the Sucker Factory.
No way. That's really, really awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, shout out again to Sucker Factory
Absolutely.
for allowing us to use your space.
100%.
That was such a fun event. We're looking forward to working with you guys again in the future.
Yeah, Nathan has reiterated while I was there that that space is our space now.
Oh, beautiful.
So we have the open invitation to come back anytime, and so do anybody that wants to be a part of the
DAO.
The DAO.
Yes.
It's an open space for anybody that wants to be a part of it. So
Make sure
to go and check out the Sucker Factory when you get a chance.
Absolutely.
But I got to do that. Been enjoying these playoffs lately.
Okay. That the Lakers are not in.
That the Lakers are not in. That's embarrassing.
It's pretty embarrassing. We kind of saw that coming though for a while.
Yeah.
I think once Anthony Davis injured his knee, the second time?
Yeah.
I could just kind of playing that where things were heading.
It's just really I don't know how I feel about it because I'm not a Lakers fan, but I'm not a Lakers hater.
Okay.
And so
I mean, you could fool me.
Yeah, I'll be talking shit.
You be talking a lot of shit about
when
the
them
Lakers,
fans come around, I'll be quiet.
I'll be quiet. Fair enough, man. Yeah, I mean, I kind of saw where it was going. I have to say I'm a little disappointed.
Yeah, it's really strange. I mean, because with LeBron, you never count LeBron out. As many times as he's made it to the championship and as many rings as he has, and as many times as he's made it to the playoffs over the decades at this point now.
He's kind of stepped in, and this is very controversial, so please do not hold me to this comment at all, but he's kind of stepped into the role of Kobe.
In what way?
In the way that what we would expect of Kobe. Like people still very much hold LeBron James to the Kobe standard.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah.
They expect him to come and take us to those victories and and make sure in those final in the final quarter that we're making those shots and not even that, but it's funny. I actually was reading an article today about LeBron. He was vacationing down in the Maldives.
Okay.
Yeah,
nice.
Kind of enjoying himself, which I think is very well deserved. But he got a lot of flack for it on Twitter.
Man, people are just too much. There's a lot of LeBron haters out there.
Yeah, leave him alone.
And like I said, I'm not a fan of the Lakers, and I'm definitely not on LeBron's jock like that. But he gets a lot of undue flack, in my opinion.
Well, when you're the greatest, right? When you're a king.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, right. It's fun, and I'm sorry. This is getting me on my soapbox.
But
it's 10 minutes into the podcast.
It's an early
10
one now.
minutes in, damn it.
Doing well. We are doing well.
It's so ironic to me that we hold this athlete to a higher standard and under more scrutiny than we do most of our politicians.
Ooh. Damn.
It is absolutely incredible. Like I said, and this dude, he gets a lot of flack. People have very strong opinions about LeBron. Very strong opinions. And most people wouldn't be able to tell you a fucking lick about their local politician or their national politician, albeit. And so, I don't know. It just sickens me.
No,
I think LeBron deserves a little bit of slack, a lot of bit of slack. I mean, I'm not a LeBron fan, but I do appreciate living in this era to get to witness such greatness?
Yeah, I mean, the man is literally the greatest NBA player of all time.
I don't know about that.
Okay, all right. Well, that's a conversation we can have.
That's definitely,
but definitely
maybe
the current
clash
one.
of the Chris's.
Yeah, definitely one of the one. Okay,
One of them.
One of them.
Definitely
right. So definitely one of, if not the greatest in the NBA currently.
Yeah. Okay.
You know,
that's a better argument for sure.
But yeah, he's done a lot of amazing things, and he's had such a great season as well, averaging over 30 points a game.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, the guy is, he's phenomenal, man.
Yeah.
And he deserves a break. He led the Lakers this entire season, you know, when we didn't have anybody else to step up.
Yeah.
You know, some people
AD
might
went
argue,
down.
right, exactly. But some people might argue that he built the team that way.
Oh, interesting.
Right? Because some people might argue that he had such a say in the team, the way that the team was formulated.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, are they saying that he built a broken team to begin with? Like, he knew the team wouldn't go anywhere?
not that he knew the team wouldn't go anywhere, but that the fact that the team didn't work out the way that everybody was hoping that it would is because he had such a say in it.
Okay, yeah. Which is a fair criticism.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a fair criticism.
Yeah.
For sure.
But, you know, that being said, he still deserves a vacation.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
100%.
everybody else gets a
1000%.
vacation. Why is he not able to get a vacation?
You are right.
You
You
know?
are right, my brother.
So,
you are right.
But one of the comments that I read said Kobe would have been practicing right now. What?
That's an unfair standard.
Very unfair.
Kobe was a bit of a workaholic,
He was a workaholic.
which played out to his advantage because the rings don't lie.
Yeah,
How many
that's true.
how many rings did Kobe win? 4 or 5?
I
I want to say he got 5.
don't know.
In which case, yeah, LeBron, you need to get in the court in the gym. Get your practice in. What you doing vacationing, brother?
Yeah, he definitely got 5 rings.
He got 5.
Yeah, Kobe got 5.
But I mean, he does have the most points in. Well, no, he does not yet have the most points.
He's close
in history. He's, I think, I don't know, but they say that if he plays a full season next year, he'll outdo Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for the point leader on the point scoreboard.
I would love to see him do that.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing him do it.
Yeah.
You know, it'll be a testament to his greatness.
His greatness, yeah.
For sure. In other sports news, Frank Gore, the 49ers running back for, I think, 9 years, from 2005 to about 2013 or so, he retired. He retired with having played the most games of any running back in history. I believe it was 241.
Whoa.
Which is even more remarkable when you take into account that he had 2 major knee injuries, right before coming into the NFL draft. And, you know, a lot of people were going to be passing him up. We didn't.
Okay, they kind of wrote him off.
And we were lucky to do so because he went on to become the 3rd leading rusher in NFL history. I think he also has like the 3rd most all-purpose yards as well, behind Walter Payton and Emmitt Smith.
What is like the average number of games that an NFL player plays in that
Player
career?
or running back?
Let's go both. Let's start with player.
Player. Well, they say the average amount of time that a player plays in the NFL is 3 years.
And if we're looking at
but if you're talking about
how many games in a year?
There's about now there's 18. There's 17 now.
17.
Yeah, so 17 times 3 is 34, 51.
Jeez.
51.
Yeah, so man, this guy had, what was that, quadruple that?
Is it quadruple or quintuple?
Quintuple. How many games did he play?
241.
200. Yeah, so 5 times. Yeah, that's
played
crazy.
a lot of games. At running back, which is a physically intense position. As if all the other ones aren't.
No, those are just bitch-ass positions.
But yeah, taking the ball from the quarterback's hands, you are getting hit by 300+ pound men.
Every down.
Every down.
Every down.
Almost every down.
Yeah.
So it's
That's a
a lot.
body intense position.
As one of the smaller people on the field at that.
Okay.
Running backs, if you can average a running back, I would say probably 5'9", 200 pounds, about maybe 210.
Right.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of physical damage. But yeah, so shout out to Frank Gore. You know, I'm a Niners fan, Niner faithful. He's set to actually sign a one-day contract next season so that he can retire as a Niner, because he went on to play for, I think, the Dolphins, the Colts,
right? Yeah.
a couple of different teams around the league. But yeah, he's going to do that so his number can be retired as a Niner.
That's beautiful.
Which is really beautiful.
That is really awesome. Yeah.
Honestly, so I'm happy to hear that.
You hear a lot of controversy around our football players, especially our black athletic football players.
Yeah, man.
So it's nice to hear that, man.
1,000%.
Yeah.
1,000%. Man, let's see. What else what's going on in the news over the past couple of weeks? Have you seen anything? Has anything piqued your interest?
You know what? In particular, I'm trying to think. Other than some of the topics we're going to get into tonight, man, I've been. Oh, you know what? Marjorie Taylor Greene was recently in the news. She is currently she's currently on trial to see if she's going to be stricken from the Georgia Senate race.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, absolutely. Because of I think it's like a 1700, a law that was written in the 1700s that says that anyone who takes part, or anyone of Congress, any member of Congress who takes part in any sort of insurrection, be barred from that body of work for life.
Damn.
Yeah, I mean, they're really coming after her, man. Like, I was listening to some of the cross-examination today.
Was she involved in the insurrection? And if so, at what capacity?
She wasn't involved directly.
Okay.
But then again, how many people were actually, you know what I'm saying? There were a lot of people on that side of the aisle that were saying rah rah rah, and then when it came down to it, they were in a bunker somewhere, and no, we didn't have anything to do with it. So type of situation. But the argument that the prosecutors have is that, or that they're trying to make, is that although she didn't participate directly in it, she influenced it and she encouraged it.
Interesting.
Right, yeah. Okay. So that's what they're trying to prove.
Like via Twitter or something like that?
Via Twitter, via some of the not articles, but interviews that she had with different people. She was interviewing. She did a segment with some people with the Proud Boys. Some other far right alt groups. She even went on Newsmax to say that the election was stolen. Things like that. That's some of the evidence that they were bringing up.
Yeah, I don't see any of that stuff sticking.
And I don't either. I guess they tried to do their best. I wasn't very impressed with the lawyer that they had, with the prosecutor. He didn't, he didn't really seem to. I mean, he definitely did a good job, because I was listening to him. He definitely knew what he was talking about. But I just feel like he could have done a better job for what they were trying to do. He could have done a much better job, gotten some better evidence. I think one of the arguments that he was trying to make was that in one of the speeches that she was giving the day leading up to the days before the actual insurrection, she had quoted a line from Independence Day, the movie, and they actually played that in the courtroom. And I mean, just everybody was just laughing, and it's
That's really funny,
right? It's like, bro, you're kind of shitting the bed right now, man. So.
Well, she's known to be like saying some pretty wild shit,
she's
right?
wild in herself.
Wild girl.
Right, she is. But I guess they couldn't establish that because it wasn't about her character or mental state.
Yeah.
It was more about whether she directly participated
intentions.
Exactly
in
the
sure.
insurrection. So they had a hard time trying to establish anything outside of that. And then she played the dummy the whole time. She was like, I don't know.
I don't think she's playing, bro. Based on what I know about this lady,
she's not very smart.
She's not playing a role.
She's savvy, but she's not smart.
Yeah.
She's definitely savvy.
Yeah.
So she definitely knew how to play the I don't recall card.
Yeah.
Because out of all the questions that he asked her, I think over 50% of her answers were, I don't really remember. I don't
smart
recall.
Move. It's a smart move.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, but yeah, that happened.
Interesting.
That was definitely interesting.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, I'm interested in seeing how it's going to play out. The judge didn't seem too impartial. I'm gonna go ahead and say that he definitely seemed like he took a liking to her. but then he you know, and that might have just been his personality as well. So
It's funny.
yeah.
Is she a looker?
Yes, it's interesting actually. She's not bad looking. She's not at all.
So was she like giving him the eye or something like that? Is that what maybe swayed his impartiality?
No, well, I don't know. She's definitely smiling the entire time.
Okay.
And, you know, I don't know if she was giving it to him.
Okay.
You know, but she was definitely smiling. She was putting on her charm.
All right.
Yeah,
okay.
definitely putting on her charm. She's definitely playing a role. You could tell.
Well, hopefully that judge can
stay impartial.
Stay impartial.
Yeah.
Like he's supposed to be doing.
Right.
But I guess we'll see. We'll see how that plays out.
Yeah. Other than that, though, I think that was really all that I had for these past 2 weeks getting caught up. Unless you had something to add.
I had one thing that really caught my eye yesterday. Last week.
What happened?
Mike Tyson.
Oh, how could I have not?
Your boy Mike Tyson is back in the news.
Man, but this wasn't his fault though.
No,
man.
it wasn't at all. It wasn't at all.
The cat that was on the plane with him, he was antagonizing him.
100%.
He was drunk
and well deserving of what he got.
I was hoping that he would have whooped in his ass a little bit more. Excuse my language.
Honestly, it wasn't as bad as I was hoping.
Yeah,
but maybe
exactly.
that's indicative of Mike Tyson's growth.
Yeah, as a human being.
Because we know he could have fucked that man up.
He could have ended his life.
Right.
He could. I'm going to take you and I'm going to make you my wife. And you're going to be my bitch for the rest of your life. You know what I'm saying? Like,
was that Mike Tyson line? I'm going to eat your children?
Could have. Yeah, I think so.
We know the depth.
Yeah, that he's willing to go.
Mike Tyson can go.
Right.
And the fact that he only, he roughed the boy up a little bit. That was it.
Yeah, he did.
It was more of a warning shot.
Definitely, absolutely. He definitely deserved it, though, man. I mean,
he did.
He was definitely intoxicated.
Seemed like
he was being a dick, and then it turns out he had quite a bit of a rap sheet too.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So he had some charges against him, and I think one of the charges was even what was it? What was it called when domestic violence? He even had like a domestic violence charge against him. So I mean, the guy has a rap sheet. Yeah. So he definitely and I think now he's trying to sue Mike Tyson.
I mean, that makes sense. But
I don't think it's gonna hold.
Yeah, hopefully he doesn't win because I think that video in itself should be pretty incriminating in that it shows him. I don't know if this is against the law though. That's the thing. Him pestering. Mm-hmm. The victim or the.
Well, it depends on where they're at. Depends on what state they're in, right? Yeah. So the law varies state by state on what constitutes like self-defense or assaults or battery.
And I think there's an account of that guy. It didn't get caught on camera, but him throwing
like a bottle
at Mike Tyson. And in which case, that would be very liberating.
Again, it depends on what state you're in.
Yeah,
it depends on what state you're in. Because some states have a clear, have like very clear cut, and in other states, it has to be clear and present danger, right? So like assault versus battery, but yeah. So I don't remember what state they were in or where they were even flying.
Well, I hope my man Mike Tyson gets off.
I do too.
I really like Mike.
I do too, man.
Say what you will about his history, but I think he's really come along over the past decade.
Yeah.
And the interviews that I've seen of him show like a very mature, very wise beyond his years. Mm-hmm. Man. And if you look back to a young Mike Tyson, you could see that he's wise beyond his years, even back then. Although he had another side to him,
he definitely has some
many
demons.
of us do,
right?
But he had a very eloquent, very intellectual, very wise mind back then as a young man. So.
And I think that's part of the way. That was part of the reason he was able to get into his opponent's head the way that he was able to.
Right.
He just
talking about eating your children.
Eating your children, right? He just knew how to deal with them psychologically. I mean, that just like that. That was a testament to his, his mental prowess. But he's definitely grown a lot. I recently saw an interview with him and Joe Rogan. Did you see that episode?
No, I did not.
It's actually really good if you get a chance to see it. I mean, he definitely has like this childlike wonder in him now. Mm-hmm. He's very content with himself, and it's such a beautiful Mike Tyson, man. Like to see him so happy and so content, like it warms your heart,
Yeah, and that's the general feeling that I get when I see his recent interviews. Of that, like he's just in a state of peace, a
Yeah.
state of acceptance,
Right.
perhaps.
And so shame on you for trying to take that away from a man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Shame on you, man.
And, you know, he was doing it for, you know, whatever platform he's on, he was doing it for some type of social media,
right.
you know, stunt. And, you know, I think that's only indicative of the era that we're in, where motherfuckers are playing with fire just to get a couple more likes.
Somebody gonna get burned, man.
Yeah, take that as a warning.
Right.
Bronze Room audience. You know, we are a little smarter than that.
Yes, right.
So,
yes.
You know, I hold you, just as you hold us to a higher standard of, I don't know, keeping it real.
We hold you to
a standard of being intellectual, being smart about your decisions.
Yeah, man, think things through. You know, think things through, and don't be, what is it? Don't pander to the cheap seats, man. Don't do that.
Yeah. Have an elevated spirit. Operate as an elevated man.
Yes, sir.
Or woman.
Or woman. Yeah, or whatever you want to call yourself.
Non-binary.
You know, look, ain't no
whatever
judgment here. You know,
you.
Yeah, absolutely. We love everybody. Just be elevated, man.
That's right.
Just be elevated.
That's right.
Yeah.
So that takes us into our segment for the day. On this day today.
On this day today.
Chris, do you have anything that struck your eye as you were looking at the calendar?
You are darn right that I do, good sir. Today is such a beautiful day in history. Before we get into that, I do have to give one shout out. I'm so sorry. I cannot believe that I did not bring this up, and I'm completely remiss because I didn't. But my sister got married this past weekend.
She did.
She did, yeah. She did.
All right.
Yeah.
Congratulations
to her. Absolutely, yes. So
that's awesome to hear.
My baby girl, absolutely. Congratulations.
Awesome.
We love you so much. I hope you the best, and I hope you are happy. I hope you guys, man, make it the long run, right? Because, you know, marriages nowadays,
it's hard.
It's hard.
It's a difficult,
marriage is not easy.
Thing, but it ain't impossible.
It ain't impossible, you know, as long as you got the best tools.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and they look so happy on their wedding day. So I'm hoping that lasts long time. She married a great guy. So congratulations to you guys.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, on this day today is about such a beautiful, beautiful singer. Mrs. Lady Ella Fitzgerald was born today. April 25th, 1917, the First Lady of Jazz is born in Newport News, Virginia.
Hey.
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
Shout out to Newport, Virginia.
Shout out. So she was actually called the Lady of First Song by a composer. So there's this really great composer named Ira Gershwin. Okay. And so this is a quote from Ira Gershwin. She said, "I never knew how good our songs were until I heard Ella Fitzgerald sing them." Right? So that's such a beautiful compliment.
High praise.
Yes, sir. Especially from a world-renowned composer, Miss Ira Gershwin. So she went on to sing with amazing singers and artists such as Billie Holiday, Frank Sinatra,
love it.
Louis Armstrong.
Wonderful.
Absolutely. One of my favorite ones is I'm trying to think of the name of the song.
Why don't you give us a sample?
Oh yeah, let me play a little something.
No, I meant from your own vocal cords. Man.
Oh yeah,
you're a vocalist.
Yeah, I would never want to.
Don't be shy.
I would never want to do that to Miss Ella Fitzgerald, man. She deserves more than that. She deserves way more than that. But yeah, she's a great singer. One of my favorite songs is "Dream a Little Dream of Me."
Dream a little dream of me. You can't give us a tiny sample.
Dream of me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all I'm gonna give you. That's all I'm gonna give you because I can't do it justice.
Well, you
man.
piqued my interest.
Yes, sir.
So mission accomplished. I'm gonna look into it.
Okay, now I do remember my all-time favorite is "Summertime."
Summertime.
Yeah. Summertime. And the wind is
Does that get like sampled or
quite often?
Do people do renditions of it?
Yeah, people do renditions of it. Yeah, but I believe that is one of her songs right there. But yeah.
Yeah, I feel like Lana Del Rey has something like that.
Yeah.
You know the one I'm talking about?
I do.
Is that the same song?
It is the same. It's not the same. I mean, obviously
shittier version.
It's I mean, you know, I want to give every artist their due, right? So she did the best that she could with the song, but no one sings it like Ella Fitzgerald does. If you ever get a chance to hear the original version, Summertime, she obviously makes it into a pop version, Lana Del Rey now. But yeah, Ella Fitzgerald is like, her version to me is the best. You just can't top it.
Okay, I'll be looking into that.
Please do, yeah.
Heck yeah.
Another one is These Foolish Things. These Foolish Things. That's another good one.
Not familiar.
Oh, bro, we got it. Yeah. So
I got to go down that rabbit hole.
Please do, for all of our listeners out there, Ella Fitzgerald, please do her a service, a well-deserved service, and check out some of her music, man. She's such a wonderful artist.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah.
Born today.
On this day today, I'm gonna come with, you know what, let me start it off with a birthday. There's a couple things that happened on this day today.
Yeah,
the great, some people might be pressed or tempted to say the late great, but he is still very much alive.
Okay.
Very much alive. The great,
Jesus?
Al Pacino.
Oh, Al Pacino. Like, we talk about Al Pacino.
Funny that you mentioned Jesus, though, because scholars, they feel and speculate that Jesus was not necessarily born in the winter months of December.
Oh, right, yeah.
But more specifically, was born in the spring months of either April or March.
Yeah, I think the calendar was different. This is what it was. The calendar.
Well, it was a different calendar. It was a Hebrew calendar versus the Roman. Was this the? Do you know our calendar that we use?
The Gregorian.
Gregorian.
Yes.
There. I was gonna say Greek, but Gregorian.
Gregorian. Yeah, the Gregorian.
Gregorian calendar that we use right now.
Yeah.
But no, it is Al Pacino's birthday.
Yeah, not quite Jesus, but
man, I mean, Scarface comes pretty close.
Yes, sir.
I mean, what gets you higher than a mound of coke
you know what I'm saying?
on your desk
and a machine gun, or a Tommy gun rather?
Right. Yeah,
I'll take your bullets. I'll take your bullets.
He turns 82 today.
Wow.
Yeah.
And he's still acting too.
He is still acting.
Yeah,
I believe he was. What was he just in? Nah, he had an acceptance thing at the Oscars.
An acceptance?
I think he went on stage to present an award to Francis Coppola or something like that.
Oh right, yes.
Something.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's still doing well. He's doing very well, actually. He's doing very well.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's dating a young 28-year-old.
Don't get much better than that. not at 82.
I don't know. It's not a golden birthday, but for you to date somebody that is the inverse of your age, that should be something.
Like, yeah, we're going to give him something. We're going to make something for it.
A silver birthday.
Silver birthday, something.
Silver birthday, because you got the gray hair.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Yes, sir.
So when I'm 72, I hope to be dating a 27.
Absolutely. And then
now, he's getting a little flack for this.
For dating somebody so young?
But I'm going to go ahead and say,
look,
that's fair game.
Right. If Hugh Hefner can do it, you know what I'm saying? You know, let him do it. Leave him alone.
He had many.
Right, exactly.
Not just one.
Not just one. He had several.
At least Al Pacino is faithful.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know? And then he called them, what do you call them, bunnies?
right. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Leave Al Pacino alone.
Yeah, Al Pacino, do your thing, brother. Do your
thing, man. Do your thing. He actually came out with a show, or not come out with a show, but he was in a show recently called Hunters.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. What was that, like two years ago?
It was about a little more than that. I think, no, let's see, when was that?
Came out 2020. Out 2020.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So 2 years ago. Yeah. And
I liked it.
Yeah, I liked it too.
I liked it a lot.
That was a cool. I mean,
I liked it a lot.
Wonderful. The ending.
I think it kind of wavered a little bit towards the middle of the season, maybe even towards the end. But
it picked it up at the end. I think it did.
It picked up at the end. Definitely. So yeah, maybe in the middle is when it kind of.
Yeah, it kind of fell off a little bit, and they kind of brought it back. I was hoping that they would do a season 2.
Yeah, I think it was deserving of one.
Yeah, but
especially the content. I like the subject of the content.
I do too, definitely.
Because if you remember correctly, or if you remember at all, the bad guy, I can't remember exactly how it falls into the storyline, but his major plot was to sicken the world
with what?
Corn syrup.
With corn syrup.
Which we all
high
know
fructose corn syrup.
Fructose, which we all know today is really bad for you.
It's a terrible substance, and it's in so many of the things that we eat.
It's everything.
Well, not meat.
So maybe the Nazis won after all.
Right, yeah. Was that a real thing, though, or that was just for the movie?
I'm pretty sure that without actually having definite information, I'm pretty sure that it has been challenged, and it's probably just been shot down in court.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, but as far as a conspiracy to like ruin people,
yeah,
I'm sure. You know me.
right.
Yeah. I believe so.
You live in the rabbit hole.
I 100%.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I mean, I could definitely see how it would be an ingenious plot to not only fatten, but ruin the lives of many, many people. I mean, how much did high fructose corn syrup contribute to the obesity that made COVID-19 such a threat to people?
Exactly.
Right? And you know what I'm saying? So that's crazy. And then, that's a whole other thing. But yeah, it's really, really terrible for you. It's not only terrible for your body, but it's terrible for your mind. Your mind does not know how to process that kind of sugar. That's crazy. So anyway, that was part of the plot. I thought that was a very ingenious part of the plot. I thought that was really brilliant how they tied all of that together.
It makes it real.
It makes it really real. And then Al Pacino's played such a great character, man.
Yeah, it was a lovable character. Although at the end, by the end, I think his character arc or his own personal story arc had a bit of a twist.
Yeah, had a little bit of a twist, but he was still very, very much
being kind
lovable.
of the bad guy or something like that.
Well, we won't get into that for those who haven't seen it yet.
Come
but
on, man, it's been 2 years.
All right, yeah, he was the bad guy.
Okay.
Well, he wasn't. He was
the
bad guy.
Yeah.
Right. He
had a bad element or something like that.
Well,
right?
he ended up being the wolf. Right. So they were searching this whole time for the wolf. He ended up being the wolf, but he wasn't the bad guy. Right. So he had a change of heart, but he was the wolf, the person who killed his dad. Right. Yeah.
In an internment camp, huh?
Wasn't it an internment camp?
I think so. Because they kept having flashbacks to him being in an internment camp. And I think he took his grandpa's wife or something like that. Oh, right.
That's what it was.
Wasn't
it? Yeah, that's what it was.
Some scandalous shit, man.
Yeah.
Damn.
He was a cold-blooded
when
person.
You would think that all you would be concerned about is fucking eating and surviving. This man's out trying to get pussy.
Well, shit, man.
Not too far off from the opportunity right now. Silver birthday. You got that silver birthday on lock.
Well played. Yes, sir. I was gonna say, Laszlo's hierarchy of need, man. I think it's food, shelter, pussy, right? That's what it is. Yeah,
before clothing, right?
Yeah. There you go. I see where you did that. But that's
you can find warmth.
there are ways. But he's a great actor. So shout out to Al Pacino. Happy birthday to you, good sir.
Happy birthday to you. One last on this day today. In 1792, the first guillotine was erected at Place de Grève in Paris. Yeah, the first guillotine.
Really? That's interesting. When did the beheading start?
I would assume immediately after.
Okay, you're like as soon as it was up, let's put some people on it.
Right. As soon as it was up, it was coming down.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. But didn't they use the guillotine? They used it in France, right? For like the revolution. I mean, right? Because they were.
Was there a French Revolution?
There was the French Revolution, or the French. Didn't the French Renaissance lead to the French Revolution, or did the French Revolution lead to the French Renaissance?
I am not well versed on the French Renaissance.
Okay.
The French Revolution, the one I'm thinking about, the one that ended up, I guess, giving birth to democracy. Mm-hmm. I was under the assumption that it came well before 1792.
Yeah, and weren't they chopping people's heads off?
If they were, I'm just unaware.
They just didn't have like the guillotine. They were just like
they were probably putting people's heads on pikes, but they were like, there's got to be a better way.
Right? Yeah. Like somebody was like, this is a lot of work.
My arm's getting tired.
Right, exactly.
All these beheadings.
Yeah. That's so funny. That actually reminds me of a poem that we used to say when I was in theater in high school. And it was like, it's a poem, but it's a tongue twister. And we used it to get, it's really short, but we used it to warm up. And it was, let me see if I remember it. I sit in solemn silence on a dull, dark dock in a pestilential prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of a short, sharp shock from a cheap and chippy chopper on a big black block.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a limerick, isn't it?
I think so. Yeah. And it's it's about the guillotine. You know, if you listen to it, I sit in solemn silence on a dull, dark dock in a pestilential prison, so like a disease-filled prison with a lifelong lock. You're there for life. A lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of a short, sharp shock from a cheap and chippy chopper on a big black block. That was the guillotine. Yeah.
Ouch.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, that's so interesting that today was the day.
Today was the day.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Speaking of executions, which way would you prefer to be executed if you had to choose?
By the what are my choices?
If you were lucky enough to get to choose.
Fair enough. Well, what are my choices?
Drowned to death, waterboarded to death.
Damn, you just went. You just went there. Okay.
Burning alive.
Nope. Not choosing that one.
Nobody ever chooses that one.
Because not only do you burn to death, like your skin is literally being melted off your bones, but you suffocate as well.
Yeah, I think you suffocate well before you feel the sensation of the burn. Well, probably not too far after.
But I mean, shit, I don't care which one comes first. I don't want to, you know what I'm saying? They're both take a really long time and they're both very painful.
Yeah, I mean, but...
No, there's no but. There's no argument for that.
Your family wouldn't have to chip in for cremation?
So we got you. We got you.
All in one go.
Right. Yeah, nah. So
if you think about it from an economic perspective, it's very cost effective.
Probably the best way to go. Look, so y'all might know how Chris wants to go, but this Chris, look, you put me in a casket. Let the worms have me. And then I guess if that or the guillotine.
Well, I mean, let me finish off.
There's more.
You can get the electrical chair.
Nope.
You get eaten alive by
hell no.
Your pick of animal.
Your pick. Well, thank you for being considerate. I get a lot of leeway here. I really appreciate the diversity and choice.
One of my reoccurring nightmares is you could be like dropped from a very high story or altitude to death.
That sounds terrible.
Yeah, but I imagine it probably goes pretty quickly. You know what I mean? In terms of the impact, pain, all that stuff. It's probably the best option.
It would not be, actually. No, because in those moments, those actually take the longest, right? Have you ever fallen from a chair? That doesn't happen quickly. That takes it feels like it's happening forever.
Yeah, but I'm talking about, so as far as the freak out value, 100%
right.
worst.
The adrenaline is so high, everything
You're probably
slows
shitting
down.
yourself.
Right.
Pissing yourself.
Right.
You're probably throwing up.
You're probably going to have a heart attack. You know what I'm saying? It's it's a very uncomfortable way to go, man.
But as far as the pain.
Oh, my God.
It's painless.
There is some value in this. But not only that, but your mind is going. You know what I'm saying? Like your mind is going a million miles per hour too. So
mentally taxing.
Taxing. The stress out features, man. But I guess you don't have to worry about the stress. You know it ain't gonna last that much longer. Yeah, definitely not falling. I don't want to fall to my death.
Okay, so which one of these options?
I'm going with the guillotine, Chris.
Okay, the guillotine.
Yeah, because it's just like that. It's over. It's done.
Yeah, I guess
you know what I'm saying?
That's true.
And then if you can.
What about drawn and quartered?
Like shot to death?
No. Drawn and quartered is...
about the horses.
Yeah.
Hell no.
Dismembered to death.
Where do you get these from, Chris? Like, goddamn. Like, what is that, some Attila the Hun shit? Like, no, that was drawn and quartered. They did that in several societies, right? So I know they did that in the West. I know Attila the Hun... Was it Attila the Hun that wrapped people in the carpets and ran them over with horses?
Damn.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that might have been Attila the Hun or Genghis Khan, actually. Wow. It was Genghis Khan. That's how he did it.
The more I hear about Genghis Khan, the more I'm like, man, this dude was real.
Yeah, he was savage, bro.
He was a savage.
He actually would, and this is something that I got from Joe Rogan, so I'm paraphrasing heavily. But one of the things that he also did was on his enemies, he would take a platform and set that on top of his enemies, and the enemy it would crush them, and he would eat while it was crushing. He would eat on top of the platform while it was crushing them. Yeah. That's some crazy shit.
That's flexing hard.
That's like, look, you know what I'm saying?
On top of this.
I'm gonna eat, right? What does that say to your enemies? I'm literally eating on top of your bones.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you are the platform of my nourishment.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You know? Like, that's crazy. Attila the Hun was a beast.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, I wouldn't want to go that way.
Yeah, well,
Nope.
And
Well, at least he's having a good meal.
Right.
It smells so good.
Or you could die by disease.
I would never. That's a terrible. Chris, what are your options? Like, you don't. Well, is there really
You
any
get to
good way to
choose the
go?
disease.
Right? Exactly.
Black plague,
That's terrible. Black plague was a slow death.
the black lung.
A slower death.
Shit.
Gonorrhea.
Bubonic plague.
Bubonic plague and black
And
plague.
black
Same
plague,
thing.
same
Yeah,
shit.
same thing.
Fucking gonorrhea.
Gonorrhea.
Syphilis. Is the worst.
That is the worst because you lose your mind.
Do you know that?
Yep. You lose your mind with syphilis.
I know you go blind.
You go blind and go crazy. Yeah, that's a terrible way to go.
That really disappoints me. It makes me angry.
Yeah, because of syphilis, Tuskegee Airmen.
Tuskegee
Yeah,
Airmen.
absolutely. That's
Yeah.
some fucked up shit. And to think that they had the cure for that too.
Yeah, just dangling in front of them like a carrot.
Yeah. Anyway, let's get away from that. Let's get away
get me
from
on
that.
another soapbox. All right, let's get into it, man.
So, where were we going? Let's start off with a lighter top. Well, to end that segment though, yes, I would take the cheap and chippy choppers. Like, hit me with the guillotine.
Is that the syphilis?
Nigga,
I can't.
no, it's the
Refresh my
guillotine.
memory.
Give him with the guillotine.
Okay, gotcha. Copy that.
Anyway, let's move on. Let's get into our first topic of the day. Chris, what's our first topic? What are we talking about today?
So first topic in the news that we will be talking about today is Jerry West suing HBO over their popular show, Winning Time.
Yes, sir. So what's going on? Because I heard that show was really good.
I've been hearing nothing but great things.
Right. So why would he want to sue them over it?
Just being ungrateful.
He's ungrateful. Was he
people
not getting paid?
Some
or?
people just want it all.
Yeah, that's true.
You know,
want their cake and eating it too.
they want to eat it too.
You know what I'm saying?
Damn. I mean, I guess the issue that he has with the show is that it shows him in a negative light.
Mm-hmm.
The character that portrays him
Mm-hmm.
is a drunk. Apparently, he's just like a maniac, and he's not good at his job. Apparently.
Now, is that the current reputation of Jerry West? Like, is that the
not
understood?
At all. I believe that the overall perception of Jerry West is that he's an upstanding man of the community.
Mm-hmm.
He's had a very successful past being an NBA player as well as the coach of the Lakers while they were winning a lot of these championships. And he's a successful GM now after his career as a coach.
So they definitely took some liberties.
Definitely.
It sounds like.
Well, to begin with, the show is an adaptation from a book by an author named Jeff Pearlman.
Okay. Is that like Ron Perlman's brother or something?
Right. It'd be interesting to see.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to find that out.
Yeah. I like Ron Perlman.
I do too. Great actor, man.
Really good
Yeah,
actor.
Sin City, he was awesome.
I didn't see Sin City.
You didn't see Sin City?
No, I saw the other. Well, maybe it was Sin City.
Well, there was
I
Sin
thought
City and
Sin
Sin
City
City
was
2.
really shitty.
Sin City? You thought it was Sin City?
Yeah,
Well, I thought it was
I saw it
fun.
as a stupid teenager.
It was
so.
definitely a stupid teenage movie. I thought it was fun what they were doing with the
It was really
monochromatic.
slow paced. No, the colorization of the film was great.
Yeah, I thought that was
but
awesome.
I thought the story was just kind of slow.
Yeah.
As a teenager, I went in there thinking like, oh, this is gonna be a dope ass action film, and it was really just slow
That's
paced.
not how I went in there looking at it.
I know it had Jessica Alba.
Exactly.
I remember that.
It
I
had
remember
Jessica
that
Alba
much.
and monochromatic Jessica Alba titties.
Ooh.
And right, so to
I
me
gotta
that
rewatch
was
it.
you definitely do, man. It has some great, and to me that's why I think that's what I remember about it.
5 stars.
That's 7.5 stars, man. Like why are you undercutting it? Like, it's Jessica Alba, bro. Yeah, that's to me. I thought it was who else was in it? What is his name? The dude who played the movie with the carrot. She was shot the gun with the carrot. What's his name?
Shot the gun with the kid.
Oh man, what is it? Anyway, I don't remember his name. It starts with an A. It'll come back to me later. But he's definitely an underrated actor. And one of my favorite actors. Well, not one of my favorite, but one of my more liked actors. Him and Bruce Willis was in it too.
That's right. Shout out to Bruce Willis.
Shout out to Bruce Willis.
He's suffering from a pretty debilitating disease right now.
Aphasia, yes. He's suffering from aphasia. He's actually caused him to retire.
Yeah,
from acting. Yeah, so shout out, our best to
Bruce.
you, Bruce.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that movie was great. I thought personally it was great. I didn't think that it was didn't deserve an Oscar, but it was fun to watch.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Jeff Pearlman
Oh yeah, I was like, how do we? Yeah,
Ron Perlman's alleged brother.
Are we alleging that right
Alleged
now?
brother.
Okay, yes. Ron Perlman's
wrote the
alleged
book
stepbrother.
called Winning Time.
Okay.
That the show was based on, and so from what I know about it, the book has some pretty salacious accounts of what was going on during that period. Now, and so
were these true accounts?
I'm not sure, and I don't think it matters in this case because if the show Winning Time is based on the book, I don't know, legally speaking, if it needs to be true or not. You know, if their adaptation is from a book, then it's the book's fault. It's not their fault.
I see what you're saying. You know what I mean? Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
If you're going to sue anybody, sue this nigga Jeff Pearlman. Mm-hmm. His family got it.
Yeah.
Ron's got it.
We looking at you, Ron.
So, yeah, I mean, we'll see what comes of it. But yeah. In a statement that he made against the show, or I guess a letter that he wrote the producers of the show, he said that the things in the show were false and defamatory in their portrayal of him.
Interesting. Well, did the show at any time claim that it was based off of true events or a true story?
There's a disclaimer in the beginning of each episode.
And what does it say?
I don't know verbatim, but it is the standard disclaimer saying like these events or this show is based on events that may or may not be true or whatever.
Some of that, any likeness or whatever is coincidental or something like that.
Yeah.
There's different kind of disclaimers that you can put on a TV show, right?
Yeah,
so there's one
based on a true story.
Right. There's the based on a true story.
Right.
There's based on true events. This is a true story, and then there's one that says any likeness in the TV show is just coincidental. That's like what South Park does, so that they get away with a lot of their shit.
Yeah, I don't think it's that last one. Okay. But yeah, I would say of the three that you listed before. The one that gives you the least liability is probably this is based on true events.
Events, right? Not true story.
Yeah, because these are historical events, if you will,
exactly.
That aren't just like
what gives you more
some arbitrary person's story. Mm-hmm. These are events.
Right, exactly. I think a lot of movies are able to get away with that. Like there was one with Dick Cheney. Vice, right. So I think Vice was one that uses that disclaimer as well, based off true events. Yeah, there's a few movies that are able to do that. Yeah. But yeah, that's really, really interesting. I mean, I would have to say, I kind of, part of me kind of agrees with him, like, you know what I'm saying, because that is his reputation, and a lot of times, your reputation is, that's your legacy almost.
Well, there's a famous saying that goes like this. It takes a lifetime to build a good reputation, and I think a matter of minutes to ruin it all.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So like you can say the wrong thing, you can do the wrong thing. Mm-hmm. If somebody catches you on the wrong day, like your reputation's down the drain, so to speak. Mm-hmm. And that's more true now than it ever was.
Yeah, exactly. I definitely agree with you on that. Like nowadays, it's very much harder to scrub your reputation clean because people tend to really stick to the malicious stuff, right?
Yeah. It sells more papers.
It does, yeah. It sells more papers.
More eyeballs.
Yeah, exactly.
You can give $100 billion to the needy, but let you say one wrong thing, one inaccurate thing.
Mm-hmm. People will have your head. They will have social justice warriors, man.
Right.
Not only that, but even people who don't necessarily have that in particular in mind, right? It's people nowadays are too lazy to do their own research. Right. So people see that and like, oh, that's Jerry West. Yeah. Oh my God. I've never supported him again.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So and then at that point, that's it. So yeah, that's very. So I'm definitely on his side for that. I do also see that there is the argument for the entertainment value of it. If it makes for a better show, but there's certain responsibilities that people have as well.
Yeah, I mean, I like to see both sides of an issue, and what I will say in favor of HBO and the airing of this show is that there's no way to say if these events are true and if they're not.
Yeah, that's true. Well, that's true. You're right.
Like, without a shadow of a doubt. There's people going. Exactly. There's going to be witnesses on both sides.
Yep.
You know,
and as soon as it enters the public space, you know what I mean. That's it.
Yeah.
You know, then it's everybody's game.
It's up to the individual to determine whether they believe it or not.
Exactly, which is kind of the fucked up part.
I will say that based on what we know about rich, powerful, old men, that oftentimes there is some type of salacious shit going on behind the scenes. So, I will say that airing this shit out will put some of them in check in terms of doing wrong to others, at least.
I disagree with your premise.
Okay, and that's fair.
Because
on the Bronze Room, you are okay. This is a safe space to disagree.
You're right, and I'll tell you why.
Encourage it.
I tell you why, because you equated. You know, you said you equated all, right? So you said most, if not all, right? And
did I say that verbatim?
You didn't say all, but you did say most. You said most rich, powerful. You didn't say white men, but I'm sure you were.
I was pressed to.
You were alluding to
I had
it,
to
right?
bite my tongue on it,
right? And so it's not fair to attribute that trait to all or most rich, powerful white men. However,
I think it is fair to say most. If I said all, that would be very unfair. If I said white, that would be unfair. But I chose my words very carefully and very explicitly.
We don't know the statistics on that.
I would say as long as it's over 51%, that classifies as most. And
True,
I think with the abundance of information that we have on people who are of high earnings, I'm talking about ultra high earnings, not just the, somebody making $200,000.
But we don't know all of the high earners in the world, all of the white high earners.
But we definitely have a lot of stories that have come out over the years of very rich, powerful people.
Yeah, but that's
not so great things.
That's not fair because those stories come out through the media, which we know is biased.
I'm glad that you said that.
Right?
Chris.
Yeah,
I'm glad to hear that coming out of your mouth.
Absolutely. Yeah. I know. I definitely. I mean, even though I don't.
I can lose this argument, and I wouldn't care. I'm so glad to hear the admission.
Yeah. That's never something that I've disagreed with.
You did, but it's okay. I'm
that
just
the media
glad that
is
we're
biased.
At our current acknowledgement.
No, I've always purported that the media was biased. I mean, because everyone is biased. There's no unbiased news source, but the media in particular, that's how they make their sales, right? I mean, that's by stories, right? And so and that's how a lot of times, that's how black people, get a lot of their stereotypes. That's how a lot of marginalized groups get their stereotypes. That's how, it's really how a lot of negative stories start. So you can't use that as your source, right? To say that, even most rich, you can't get your information from that, right?
You're singing a sweet melody right now.
Well, I'm glad you're enjoying it.
Truth.
I'm hitting my Ella Fitzgerald on this bitch. But yeah. So the reason I disagree is because, like I said, we don't have the statistics on all the rich, powerful men or white men out there. So we can't really say that they're all like that. And to ruin one man's reputation, or even if we believe that it's for the greater good to put other people in check, I don't agree with it. Yeah,
as I said, I try to look at both sides of this issue, so that's a great counterpoint.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I am playing devil's advocate right now. I am in agreement with hey, leave this man alone.
Let him be. Let the man be. Yeah, which I kind of saw. I knew what you were doing.
Well, I'm glad that you know me to that point.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's good. But I do think that checks and balances is extremely important in this world. And so because like I said, as I prefaced this whole thing with, is that we don't know, for all we know, these stories could be true.
You're absolutely right.
In which case, I think it would be good to at least give that side of the argument and put it out there.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Think what you will of this man, but hey, there are some asterisks that may be put on his name. Right.
You know Fair enough. Yeah. The may. And
may.
Right. And the fact,
Allegedly.
Right. Exactly. Allegedly.
The word of the day.
Right. No, you had to. I know you can do better than that. That's baby cake. We got a show yet.
We got some time.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I definitely agree with you. And if the stories are true, then hey, I think it should be aired out. Like you said, we don't know. One way or the other.
Either way, it's a great fucking series from what I hear. So
Oh yeah, absolutely.
y'all check out Winning Time, and if y'all have any specific interpretations of this story, let us know on our platform on Instagram at The Bronze Room.
The Bronze
Bronze
Room. At the Bronze Room. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So yeah, please let us know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So moving quite along here, and speaking of the portrayal of individuals, so our next topic here is actually about our lovely police officers, Christopher.
Yes.
Who
you know how we love the police
we
officers.
love our police officers. Now, honestly, though,
protect and serve.
Yes, sir. Honestly, I personally have nothing but great respect for our police officers, who do risk their lives every day to go out there and protect and to serve. It's those scroungy, no good, some guns that I really, really, really wish the utmost karma upon.
Yeah.
Those people, those. Well,
yeah,
where they
to
can
be
go.
fair, we know that most of them are not bad.
Yes, exactly.
But there is a few.
Yeah, and there's also a system that protects those few.
Yeah.
Which.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
but
we'll
get
along.
it. Yeah. Anyway,
Go right along.
Now that my disclaimer's in place. But yeah, so apparently, there are these police officers in Santa Ana that have been playing loud copyrighted music when they are making stops, so that when individuals record them, and there's and put those recordings on different social media platforms like Facebook and YouTube, they're immediately taken down due to copyright infringement. So one of the examples that was given was one of the songs that was repeatedly played is "You Got a Friend in Me," which is very ironic. Super ironic, right? And then some songs from Encanto as well. Just a lot of Disney songs that they're playing, and they know is going to be super copyrighted. Which, me personally, well, you first, Chris. Tell me, what do you think? What do you think about that situation?
I think it's just one of many examples of the corruption that the police operate under. That the body cams were meant to address an issue of the police acting out of their bounds of jurisdiction, out of their bounds of conduct when dealing with the public. And so for them to circumvent this, which was addressing a problem that had been going on for a long time, it's really it's disappointing for one. I wouldn't say it's unexpected. It's quite the opposite.
Well, let me say this though before you continue. So it's not the body cam footage that's going up. This is footage that is recorded by individuals.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So this is how sometimes they will get stopped. They want to put up those "I Know My Rights" videos, or they just want to make sure that they're everything is above board and protect themselves.
Yeah.
These are the individuals that are having their videos taken down.
Well, I think that's just as salacious.
Agreed.
It's just as corrupt. I think my mind went to the body cams because they tamper with those as well. Like they'll I forgot to turn my body cam on.
That's so common, yeah.
Or I accidentally turned my body cam off. And I hate it. I hate it. But it's the reality of the situation in this country. It's been the reality just in different forms for decades, if not centuries. Right. So it's per usual. I mean, shit don't surprise me. It's just I'm disappointed to hear it.
Yeah, to me, it's such a low down, dirty tactic, though. It's
it's kind of childish too.
A little childish, I mean, slightly creative, kind of reminds.
Yeah, I mean, you get the kudos,
right?
For
yeah,
creativity.
Exactly, for creativity, right? But I think it's look, man. If you're doing your job and you're doing your job above board, you really shouldn't have anything, right? You shouldn't have to have anything to hide.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like this is all very much legal. What is your reason for doing it? And you know what I'm saying? And let that be known. Let's talk about that. Because there's no good reason. I can't think of one.
Right. Right.
If you have body cam footage and you are a public servant, meaning your badge number is known anyway, it can't be for privacy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You can't be for anything like that. So I don't know. I don't think it's right. I think it's something that should be done away with. Fortunately, there is a lawmaker in Santa Ana who is currently trying to get this put into law, so that they are not able to play this music, super loud during their stops, and give people the right to post these videos online. I think another issue might be interfering with police with police investigation, maybe.
Yeah,
right.
Definitely.
So
definitely.
Yeah, and I think on both sides, right? So playing the loud music, or if you're recording, is the recording interfering with police business?
Yeah, and you know what? If I'm going to put on my lawyer hat for just a minute, I'm going to say that this is actually a pretty good strategy by the police. More points for fucking creativity.
Mm-hmm.
Because you could argue that this does not get in the way of the investigation itself of wrongdoing, because it doesn't disallow investigators from looking at the footage and listening to the footage.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. Because it does disallow them from listening to the footage. Because
not necessarily.
Well, in the videos that were posted, the examples that were gave, the music is so loud that you could no longer hear the individual speaking.
Oh, okay.
Right.
And so in which case
you don't really know what's going on.
If I was a dirty cop, I would play it at a just audible enough level
to go in and out
to be heard throughout the video.
I see what you're saying.
So because I would think that the main issue
to get it taken down
would be that it's not for public viewing.
Mm-hmm.
Let the courts do what they're going to do.
Right.
They side with cops more times than not anyway, so you're safe there.
Okay.
The thing you do have to worry about as a cop is what the court of public opinion.
Right, exactly.
Which has been tilted away from them over the past couple of years. Mm-hmm. So if you want to get that public back on your side, or at least keep them in the dark, this is a good way to do it.
Yeah, I think I definitely agree with that.
Which is fucking just a diabolically genius.
Yeah, it is. Still wrong.
Diabolically genius.
Still wrong, though.
Oh, yeah, 100%. That goes without saying.
You're worrying me there a little bit, Chris.
No. I try to be as unbiased as possible. And damn it, it's very creative.
It's pretty creative, honestly.
Very creative.
I mean, I couldn't help but snicker a little bit before I was like, you know what? No, no, you will not.
You dirty pigs, man! I tell you.
I wouldn't go that far, but yeah. I mean, yeah. I just think that it's just wrong. It was funny though. I thought it was pretty funny.
Yeah. Very funny.
You got a friend in me.
As I'm beating
you got a friend in me. Get in these handcuffs. Put your face on the ground. I don't care if you can breathe. Da 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 da. You got a friend in me.
Oh man. So in other news, that is, I guess, going kind of slightly in the same direction.
Okay.
Of corruption, in my humble opinion.
Okay.
There's a new bill that is on the floor of California legislators.
Ooh, I love bills, man. Hit me with it. Hit me with it.
So this is going to be bill, or AB 2098.
Okay.
Which pretty much gives lawmakers and medical board directors the option and the elbow room to take doctors' licenses away for speaking mistruths or misinformation to their patients in regard to COVID-19.
This is interesting because
very interesting.
You have very clear stance on COVID-19 and the medical field in general.
1,000%. Many of which I have not really touted on this platform.
This is true.
I've been a very good boy.
Yeah.
on this podcast.
Yeah. So yeah, we don't have to go into them, but yeah. So this is knowing where you stand on this.
This bill pisses me off.
I can see why it would. Absolutely.
Yeah. It's unjust. I'm just going to read a couple of paragraphs from the article because I do want this to be as clear as possible about what this bill is introducing.
Okay.
And then I'll read a couple of things from the bill itself.
Okay.
You know.
That's always good.
Yeah. So the article starts, and this article can be found on reclaimthenet.org.
And can you, if you can, and if you have the source, can you let us know where the source of the actual bill can be found as well?
Yeah, for sure. So this article, which I'm reading from the internet, reclaimthenet.org, has a link to the bill itself.
Perfect.
So it says, in California, work is underway by lawmakers described by some as Orwellian to push 2 new COVID bills, one that would deal with immense information around the epidemic and the virus coming from doctors, and another whose goal is to promote censorship by internet platforms. Critics say that the motive behind the Assembly Bill 2098, introduced by 2 Democrats, is to prevent doctors from speaking freely, whether about COVID treatment or on issues directly affecting their patients. Now, let me finish. Sorry, I'm so ready to just go in. Okay, California Assembly Bill 2098 was introduced by Evan Lowe with the goal of stopping doctors, physicians, and surgeons from speaking in favor of the benefits of COVID-19 treatment using some off-label drugs and from questioning the vaccine safety. It isn't unusual at all for a medication intended to cure one condition to then be found to also help treat something else. This is not a secret or a controversial topic at all, except when it comes to COVID. There, from mainstream media to the federal government, the suppression of the use of off-label drugs in early COVID-19 treatment has been ongoing for 2 years, despite evidence of their benefits and state-level attempts, such as what happened in Florida, to allow their use. But in California, the new proposed bill considers doctors who are exploring these options to be disseminating misinformation and conducting themselves unprofessionally. So right off the bat, right there, this bill is seeking to silence people, doctors, for doing what they do in their career, which is to practice medicine.
Well, let's get one thing straight though before we get into that. So this is the article that's saying this. We haven't read from the specific bill yet. So we don't know personally yet, but I'm on board with you so far. So, okay. I mean, I don't agree. If that's what this bill is saying, I don't agree with it. But yeah, so we want to, so just to make it clear for our listeners, this is what the article is saying.
That's what the article is saying. And if this is true, then shame on the California legislature. Because what doctors do is they practice medicine.
Exactly.
When you practice anything, you experiment, which also happens to be one of the standards of science.
Well, there is yes, but you have to have
experimentation.
It's not experimentation for the sake of experimentation, right? So,
of course not.
Right. One thing when I first started for working in the medical field, right? So you can't just, even when you're conducting a clinical trial, you cannot just conduct a clinical. You have to have a good reason, right? So there has to be a medical benefit from the clinical trial that you're conducting,
1,000%.
right? And again, the do no harm. Right, 1,000%. So your goal has to be to benefit. It has to be for the betterment of mankind.
100%.
Right. So
speaking of experimentation, the COVID-19 vaccines that have been released over the past couple of years are under the emergency use authorization.
Correct.
Which deems these vaccines as an experiment.
Correct.
Just so everybody knows that out there.
Yes. But
they have not been without adverse effects.
True,
which would then violate that Hippocratic oath of doing no harm.
No, that's not true. Every clinical trial is going to have adverse events.
I'm just saying those were your words. They just came out.
Yeah. So every clinical trial has an adverse event. It's the serious adverse events so there are AEs and there are SAEs. So the AEs they're kind of what you're going to expect. They're going to be like nausea, things like that. There have been some SAEs, right? Some serious adverse events with the actual virus, right? So we know that there were some heart conditions and things like that. But
the actual virus or vaccine?
Excuse me, the actual vaccine. Thank you for correcting me on that. But when you look at the data overall, you see that there is a very specific subset of people who it affects, right? And so when it comes to the majority, so when you're looking at
what is that subset, if you don't mind me asking?
I don't know the subset offhand. I do know that that's the the virus itself disproportionately affects obese people. I don't know about the vaccine off bat, but I do know that it is a very small subset compared to the actual number of people that it helps.
Well, I'm glad that you brought that up, my brother.
Of course.
The most common adverse effect from these vaccines generally has been myocarditis, which has generally affected young men. I think between 14 and 25.
Okay.
I'm just throwing that number out there. I think that number's backed up by some statistics. But that's something to just kind of keep in your back pocket and know.
Yes. Yeah. And I've heard the same thing. The actual numbers, though, right? So the actual numbers, I think, is like it's very marginal compared to the actual number of people that it had helped, right? So when you are...
Copy that. I'm just going to stop you right there. It would thereby mean, to me, just speaking logic, that a disease that affects disproportionately, your words verbatim, right?
Yeah.
Obese people, and these were not your words, but statistically speaking, obese people and people who are over the age of, like, let's say 60, although it's even much higher than that. For you then to give somebody an experimental vaccine who does not fall within those ranges of obesity or being a senior, but then know that that vaccine could very well cause serious heart conditions like myocarditis, just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I think
if you have none of the benefit but some of the risks, I would deem that as illogical.
Well, you still have the benefit,
very
right?
little risk.
You still have the benefit, right? So everybody who takes the vaccine is going to benefit.
You have very little benefit, I should say.
Okay, yeah. So everybody who takes the vaccine is going to benefit from the vaccine, right? So I mean, there is a benefit of it. I don't know enough about the information, like the statistics, the actual studies on it, to really to make like an actual objective argument for or against it. This is just things that I have come across myself, and then knowing what I know from clinical trials, right? So I'm just piecing things together. But I agree with you in that if that is the case, right? And again, we're both piecing together very loose things and making an argument out of it. So no sort of conclusion should be drawn from this conversation.
I'm glad that you took the conversation there, my brother.
Please go
because
ahead.
Because under this AB 2098, a medical professional would be disallowed or deterred from even practicing or experimenting or pontificating. Can that be the word of the day?
Pontificate is a great word. I don't know if it's the word you're looking for, but that is a great goddamn word.
Pontificating over the logic of these mandates or these policies.
Interesting.
Which I think is the very dangerous thing about this.
Yeah.
It's like we can't, what this bill alludes to at the very least is that, hey, take our word for it, end of discussion.
Yeah, that's what, okay. So two things. Number one, if that is what the bill says, bro, I'm 100% on the same side of you. That is wrong. You cannot tell people, you cannot force that upon people, especially if your job is to, like you said, practice medicine. Now, I have a feeling that it's a little bit more nuanced than that. It goes a little bit deeper. It's not as dry, as clear cut as that article is making it out to be. But I do think if that is the case, then yeah, that is completely wrong.
I'm glad that you speculating on what the bill says.
I'm glad that you're so glad today. This is the gladdest I've ever seen you, Chris.
I'm sorry, because I'm finally getting to talk about some things that I hold very near and dear to my personal beliefs. Yeah,
and this is what the Bronze Room is all about, right? So we want to be able to talk about all of these things and have these conversations that people. These are conversations that people should be having.
That they should at least have the right to have.
Exactly. That part. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So it kind of just flashed back to our conversation a couple of weeks ago at the Second Factory. Shout out to the Second Factory. We love them.
Yes, sir.
about the rights and wrongs of free speech, the limits and parameters of that.
Yeah.
And my whole argument was, hey, it's a slippery slope. Once you start regulating free speech, be careful.
That plays right back into that conversation, actually.
1,000%.
That's like a perfect example of what you were talking about.
If you date back to what I said, I was trying to steer the conversation not towards highlighting the points that I cared to highlight, but I was trying to steer the conversation into critical thinking.
Interesting.
About, okay, if we go that route, then what? You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's always good to think these things through.
And I think that's something that, as Imagine was highlighting and suggesting, that we really need to do a better job at being a more educated public.
Yeah, well, an educated society.
1,000%.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree with that.
As while that might fall into the hands of the public schooling system, knowing at least what I know about the government, don't hold your breath for that.
Right.
So we should all be taking it upon ourselves and our circle of influence to spark these type of critical thinking conversations.
Yeah, absolutely. I think
Which
that's fair.
more and more, as we go into the future, are being more and more limited. With censorship comes that allure of even if you're thinking something like
I think there have definitely been some examples of people being censored on platforms such as Twitter and in YouTube. So I do think that that's the case. I don't know if it's gone to the level that it sounds like you are alluding it to be.
I will 1,000% say that it is.
That it's there? Because I mean,
have you never? And if it's true, that's fine. But I know in my life, I have definitely seen a change in how freely people talk amongst each other.
No, you're absolutely right. Absolutely. And this whole, it started out with political correctness, right?
Exactly.
And I see what you're saying there. So it has been quite a slippery slope in that regard. However, I mean, nobody's going to, ain't nobody putting me in jail for having a conversation. You know what I'm saying? If I were to have a conversation in public, right, I think the court of a public opinion right now is a little weird there, right? But, the law still stands in my favor currently. Currently. We'll see, how far that goes. But yeah, these conversations are very important to have.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. So, I mean, just to get back to the bill itself, I'll read the bill itself. It's not very long at all, but I will even make it more concise than it currently stands. AB 2098, as introduced, low. I don't know what that means, but it's period after that. Physicians and surgeons, unprofessional conduct. Existing law provides for the licensure and regulation of physicians and surgeons by the Medical Board of California and Osteopathic Medical Board of California. Existing law requires that the applicable board to take action against any licensed physician and surgeon who is charged with unprofessional conduct as provided. This bill would designate the dissemination of promotion of misinformation or disinformation related to the SARS-CoV-2 coronavirus or COVID-19 as unprofessional conduct. The bill will require the board to consider specified factors prior to bringing a disciplinary action against the physician and surgeon. The bill would also make findings and declarations in this regard. So
it sounds like there's a review that happens ahead of time, right? So where they go over exactly what it is that you've done, or the misinformation or disinformation. So we don't know what the standards are specifically, but
I think it's the dangerous part of this is that it leaves it very vague. It just says the bill will designate the dissemination or promotion of misinformation or disinformation regarding COVID-19. So who's to say
the review board
that
was,
is?
That's the medical board, right?
Right.
But they do that now, though. Right? They currently make those standards now.
Yeah, and maybe it'd be worth digging into what the Medical Board of California's standards are.
Right. If you were to tell your patient you should probably be drinking bleach, man. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're going to go above on the review board and you're going to look at that. There was a show that I used to watch a little while ago. I don't even remember the name about it, but it was a medical show, and there was it might have been House. No, it wasn't House. It was a different one. Anyway, so it was about these nurses, actually. So it wasn't House. It was about these nurses and doctors, and what they would experience in the ER. And I'm going to fast forward. One of the doctors was an oncologist, and this oncologist was taking people and
euthanizing them?
no, you sick son of a bitch.
Very heavy on death today.
Yeah, you really are. No, I was playing. So this doctor started up her own clinic, her own oncology practice, and was getting people to sign up for these clinical trials that they may not have necessarily needed, right? And so the chemo and treatments that she was giving them, it wasn't exactly clear that they needed them, right? And so this was brought up against the review board and things like that. So there's one example, right? So you might say, hey, this person needs ivermectin, right? When it may not necessarily. So that's something that would be brought up against the review board. So there are specific IRBs, right, which are review boards basically, that have standards that are already set in place, and there are not specific rules over like, hey, you cannot say this, you cannot say don't take this drug or don't take that drug, but they look at a very it's not just broad, but it's also very concise as to like, hey, you cannot be damaging a patient in this way.
Yeah, and I would assume that these RRBs would generally be seizing the licenses of medical doctors based on negative results, not necessarily benign results. So if you want to experiment with giving your patient 2 doses of turmeric, you know what I'm saying? Something that's not going to affect their health for the negative, but could affect it for the positive.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
So if you were to give your patient, if you were dealing with a patient that was suffering COVID-19 symptoms and you were to give them ivermectin, which based on everything that I've read up on, and I've read a lot, doesn't have any negative effects on you as far as health benefits. Now, there was some stories in the news talking about it was sending people to the hospital, but that story has since been debunked.
Okay.
It was fake news.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Ivermectin, you have to take an exorbitant amount, like more than an exorbitant amount for it to have negative health effects on you.
Isn't that like a horse medicine? It's a horse like antibacterial or something.
It can be used for horses, but it more often is used for human viruses. Okay. Parasites. Okay. Specifically.
That's what it is. It's antiparasitic.
When the discovery of it won the Nobel Peace Prize.
I think I remember
in 2015.
Yeah, right.
So the story that this was a horse medicine is,
I think it was started by CNN. Actually,
it was definitely perpetuated by CNN.
Right. Yeah.
Which is just really asinine.
Down dirty, man.
It's really dirty.
Terrible.
It's more of a human medicine that has horse applications than it is the inverse.
Right. Yeah. So what you're saying is,
take ivermectin if you I am not a medical professional. Please do not take ivermectin on my account if you come down with COVID-19.
If you are going to do something wildly, take some UV lights and put them inside your body. A little bit of bleach. See how it mixes together.
But I will say this just so people understand that studies have indicated that ivermectin is quite effective at dispelling COVID-19 when introduced in the early stages.
Okay.
Now, if you're in the late stages of COVID-19, it's very few drugs that will bring you out of that to a normal state. But if you take ivermectin in a early state and not proactively, but what's the word that you can also use for a Jimmy hat? Prophylactically.
What is a Jimmy hat?
Jimmy hat is an old school term for condom.
What? I mean, sure, but
condoms used to be referred to as prophylactics.
Oh, right, yeah. Bro, that was a hell of a journey that you just took me on.
Maybe that should be the word of the day.
Prophylactic? Yes, sir. That's our word of the day, for sure.
I just remember this SNL sketch. I was like 5 years old watching it, right? I didn't get what the hell it was talking about, but it was talking about you have to get the new prophylactic. And it was showing like a girl bouncing on a trampoline made of the prophylactic.
Oh,
it was that strong.
Wow.
There's nothing getting through that.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
That's so crazy, the things that influence us as kids.
Yeah, it really does.
Right? The things that stick in our minds.
I was asking my mom, can I get a prophylactic trampoline?
What's your mama? Did she whip your ass?
I got beaten.
I would have got beaten too, actually. Yeah, it's funny.
But yeah, if you take it prophylactically, along with vitamin D, along with zinc, there's a few other things that aren't coming to mind.
Prophylactic vitamin D, no pun intended.
Right. See what I did there?
Yeah, I see what you did there. Yeah.
But if you take those things prophylactically, they have an enormous effect in preventing you from getting COVID-19.
Okay.
Now, India, who was going through their major outbreak, and I think about May of, was it last year? Maybe 2020. The years kind of synced in together. But
yeah, that pandemic really did a number on us that way, right?
Yeah, it did.
I mean,
it
when
did.
it comes to like telling, like being able to differentiate days and weeks, and that's crazy. Anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But I mean, if you recall that outbreak, they were going through it for pretty majorly
for a minute. They were for a while.
A minute, probably a month or maybe more than that. But what the government ended up doing, and this isn't widely talked about, is they ended up sending out these health packs, much less expensive than the vaccine, much less taxing on a society than lockdowns, although I'm sure they had that too. But they were sending out these prophylactic packages.
They were sending out condoms.
I think it costs like 5 cents per dose to make ivermectin.
Oh, okay.
Which is another reason why they don't necessarily push it, because
it's so cheap to make.
There's no profit to be made.
Okay, I can see the argument.
There's no profit to be made.
Okay.
So, but they were sending this out to their public, and you haven't heard shit about India going through COVID-19 outbreaks ever since. You haven't heard anything.
Interesting.
Also, in Africa was very, very little hit by COVID-19. From what I understand, a lot of their governments, because they deal with so many other diseases in their countries, it's kind of like that's a default thing that they give out to their public.
Ivermectin,
along with other vitamin D.
Really? So, like, I mean, the ivermectin
that's what I've heard.
Use is that widely?
I believe so.
Interesting.
Especially in third world countries, where you're going to be dealing with a lot more stomach bugs.
But see,
especially if you're drinking water that isn't sanitized.
Okay. I guess, yeah. I guess I see that. Sometimes blanket solutions. Because we're talking about a blanket solution. The conversation is criticizing a blanket solution, aka the vaccine. So sometimes blanket solutions kind of make me a little wary. But I guess if it has that track record, then yeah, more power to it. Yeah,
and like to your point, I think that's why bills like this are so dangerous, because it takes the power out of having a multifaceted approach to solutions.
Well, I don't know if it does though. Right? Because, I mean, it sounds like you just read, like, the abstract of the bill.
Yeah, let me read some of the actual, sections of the bill. The legislator, Section 1, the legislator finds and declares all of the following. The global spread of COVID-19 has claimed the lives of over 5 million people worldwide, including 75,000 Californians. Now, this is just objective talking, and we'll wrap this up soon after, because I know we're going over on time.
Oh yeah,
but what would you guess the percentage of worldwide citizens is? 5 million people.
Very small.
Take a guess.
Well, I mean, there's 7 billion people on the planet, and 1,000 million is a billion, and so let's see. I don't know, like less zero.
How many zero? I'm doing the math right now.
0.0001%.
How many zeros does a billion have in it? Is it 7? 7.
7. Yeah, I'm assuming 7 or 8. Because 6 is a million, right?
Yeah. All right. So 5 million people divided by 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 billion people is 0.07%.
0.07%?
Yeah. And
okay.
I think the math is wrong on that.
I think it is too, but that's okay.
But it's a very small number, percentage-wise. Now, just that being stated, would you say that a global pandemic that put
you weren't too off. 0.63.
Yeah, but see, when you're doing percentages, I think you have to move the decimal over twice.
Well, what it is,
right?
is
which
what
will
it
make
is,
that 7% of the population, which isn't true.
No, because you did 7 billion and 7.9 billion. So I just increased the number. But
Okay.
I'm sure if I would have done 7 billion, it probably would have came out to 0.7.
So there's damn near 8 billion people on there.
Damn near 8 billion.
That's a lot of
Yeah.
people.
Jordan Peterson predicts that at 9 billion, there's going to be a rapid decline.
There's already a rapid decline. Well, maybe
there's
not
a
rapid.
Yeah, and then there's
already a slowdown.
Right, and that's because
population.
people aren't having kids anymore. That's
Right.
really what it is. But okay, anyway, go ahead.
But would you say that it warrants a global shutdown to the effect that we had around the globe for about 2 years? 0.07%. Would you say?
It depends. I think
Okay.
it's a niche.
Safe
I think it's a
answer.
niche question.
Very safe answer.
A niche
Very
question.
safe answer.
Because
Keeping in mind all the mental health, all the suicide, and all the other problems that we're now recognizing took place. The kids out of school.
I think you're only looking at deaths, and you're not looking at the infrastructure. No country's medical infrastructure was built to handle COVID-19.
Okay.
Right? We were completely inundated. We didn't have
That's a fair
enough
point.
medical supplies. We didn't have enough beds. There were people getting treated in the halls. Like it wasn't just the deaths. It was the infrastructure.
And that's the argument that everybody goes to, which is a valid argument.
It's a valid argument.
It's a valid argument.
It's like the nigga jumped off a cliff. Why didn't he fly? Well, it was gravity. That's the same as the shit they always go to. Gravity my ass. You know what I'm saying? Like,
quick little tangent. That's also what they said about witches, that they would drown.
Mm-hmm.
The suspected witches at the Salem witch trials.
Uh-huh.
They would tie them to a rock, throw them into a river,
exactly.
and when they didn't come up for air,
They'd be like,
oh,
witches in water.
Right. Of course she drowned.
She's gonna drown because we're watching.
Right.
She'll never let us get the last word.
But I mean, no, it's a valid argument.
Yeah,
It's a valid argument. But I will say that to declare that a reason to do everything that we ended up doing, I would say is arguable.
I think you're absolutely right, and I think politics heavily got in the way of that. Yeah. This pandemic was hijacked by politics.
Yeah, it was.
So I think left, to its appropriate devices, it could have been handled. It probably would have been handled better. But yeah, once you get, and then, oh man, the world was also hijacked by Donald Trump. Like the entire world was hijacked by Donald Trump. So that had a lot to do with it as well. You know. So I think it's multifaceted, man. There's a lot that went into these past couple of years, and we were just completely blindsided.
Yeah, and feel however you feel about how things were handled, but we see now
that it was handled the wrong way.
Right,
I agree.
And we see now that there's bills being proposed to take it a step further.
Right, and I agree with you that it's wrong. Right, exactly.
Something we should be concerned about.
Yeah. I think for the interest of time, I think that everybody should, if you're a listener, hey, look, study to show thyself approved, man. Go out and read the bill for yourself and try to interpret it. If you can't, you can always try to, there are resources online to help you interpret these bills. But yeah, make sure to get the lowdown. Make sure you get a complete understanding of what, this bill is offering. To your point, if it is mandating that people can or cannot say certain things, I think that it is wrong. I think it is an infringement on not only their practice, but also their free speech. I think, well, let me strike that. Free speech is actually taken out when you have an obligation to your client, when you come into a contract. I think that's mitigated, right? So, so maybe not free speech, but it is infringing. It is possibly infringing on their practice. Yeah. Right. So. 100%. Yeah. But
I will just read a few other points from this bill before we move on. It says in Section E, major news outlets have reported that some of the most dangerous propagators of inaccurate information regarding the COVID-19 vaccines are licensed healthcare professionals. I think that's very interesting.
It's very dangerous language.
Yeah. Let's see if anything else points it out. I meant to highlight this thing, but I didn't have time. But yeah, that bill is up for anybody to view on the website, reclaimthenet.org, under the article titled "Proposed California Bill Threatens to Revoke Doctors' Licenses for Contradicting State Messaging."
Dun dun dun.
Listen to your overlords.
That article is so
Or else.
That article is so colored though, man.
Welcome to the world of the media.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, fair point. Yeah. So go out and, read the article for yourself and then, come to your own conclusion. All right. So definitely moving on. Our next topic is going to be something that's equally, depending on which circles you're in, is equally as controversial. Mr. Musk has finally bought Twitter.
Daddy Elon.
Yes, sir. Daddy Elon.
I call him Daddy Elon. Just quick little.
So where did that come from?
Interruption. Because apparently, and I found this out today, it could be fake news. I don't know. You'd let me know.
Okay.
He adopted a 60-year-old man.
What?
Is that true?
I have no idea.
If he did, are there still applications going on?
Exactly.
Daddy Elon, come and save me.
Right, I'm right here,
from
man.
this life of
hard work.
destitution.
Right, exactly. I just need $1 billion. Just give me one. Just give me one.
Daddy, I'll make you proud. Daddy.
I'll make you proud. I'll give 70% of it to a charity in my name. That's hilarious. I did not know that.
It could be bullshit.
It sounds like bullshit, but I'll take it.
Bullshit.
Look, I mean, hell, this man's such a generous man. You know what? It actually reminds me of a movie. I was watching, The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard. Have you seen that?
Nah, is that the one with Samuel L. Jackson?
Samuel L.
Ryan
Jackson,
Reynolds?
Ryan Reynolds, and Salma Hayek.
Damn, she's in it too?
Yeah, bro.
I'm about to go see that.
Have you seen Salma? Bro,
Tonight.
how old is she?
She's been my crush since Desperado.
Bro,
I saw that movie when I was like 8.
She's only gotten bustier.
Oh my God, don't say that.
Goodness, bro, it's insane. And she takes her top off in the movie.
For real?
Yes, she does.
At damn near 60?
At damn near 60.
Really?
Bro, she looks good.
And they're holding up all right?
They're holding up very well.
Now, do you think they've been worked on?
I don't know. I don't care. I mean, honestly, she does look great though. Like, not to turn this into like a gawk session, but yeah, I mean, she looks amazing for 6 years old.
It's called the Bronze Room, not the Man Cave.
This is true. I mean, look, and I'm holding my comments. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, no, she looks amazing in that movie. But anyway, in the movie, I hate spoilers.
That movie is old.
Okay, cool. I mean, look, as long as I got your approval, I don't really care. But yeah, so in the movie, at the end of the movie, Salma Hayek and Samuel L. Jackson, spoiler alert, end up adopting Ryan Reynolds, his character, and it's the most hilarious thing. Because the entire plot of the movie is they want to have a baby. And finally, at the end of the movie, through some interesting twists and turns, they end up adopting Ryan Reynolds. And it's the most hilarious thing ever.
Interesting.
Please forgive me, Salma, Samuel, and Ryan for ruining the ending. But yeah, for all you guys out there, please go see that movie. It's super, super dope. But anyway, back to adopting an old ass man. Anyway, back to Elon Musk. So yeah, so Twitter has finally accepted his bid for $44 billion. God dang, $44 billion to take over Twitter. That's a lot of money. And so this offer is going to effectively take it out of the public space and is now going to be a privately owned company. So we will not be able to buy stock in the company anymore, I believe.
I think that's what that means.
That's what that means. And then also we won't have a say in how the company is run. Of course, companies always tout that they listen to their shareholders, and shareholders aren't necessarily those who own stock in the company. It is also those who participate in the success of the company, meaning those who own Twitter. So I'm sure if we had enough of a say, we could still, have a say in how the company is run. But now it is private. It is a privately held company.
Yeah, he bought all the shares, I believe.
Yeah.
At $52 a pop.
Yeah. $44 billion.
Yeah, so if you owned your stock before the 4th of this month, you would have owned it at $39. And you could sell it for as high as $51.
Jesus.
Damn near $52. $52.92 is the highest that it went to.
Man.
Knowing that the company's going to be going public, so you might as well get rid of all your. I'm sorry, it's going to be going private, so you might as well get rid of all your shares.
Well, I mean,
that's a 25% jump. Well,
I wouldn't sell.
That's a 25% jump.
If he's buying the company, then he's going to buy out your shares of stocks for $54. I wouldn't sell.
Yeah.
I wouldn't sell.
Well, you would sell it at $52.
I wouldn't sell at $52 if he's going to buy it out at $54.
No. I said $52.
Oh, okay. But I thought he was buying it out at $54 a share.
No, $52.
He's buying it at $52.
What I read earlier was $52.
Sorry. Okay. Confused me for a second. But yeah, I mean, that's if you are an owner in Twitter, it is your payday.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like it or not. But yeah, so I think it's going to make some interesting changes to the company.
I'm sorry, it was $54.
It is $54. Yeah, I thought it was $54.
My bad.
Yeah, so
fake news.
Okay, yeah, y'all see how you should go find out for yourself. Don't listen to Chris.
That's right.
Yeah, I think it was quite a dramatic experience over the past couple of days, right? It was pretty theatrical.
Well, yeah, I thought it wasn't going to happen.
Same.
As of the close of last week.
Well, they took what was called a poison pill, right, to make to discourage Elon Musk from buying the company. So Elon Musk was like, "Look, guys, I want to buy the company," and he put the money out on the table. And then its board, who I was doing a little bit of research in, they're all incredibly stupidly wealthy. Were saying that they want.
There's probably something nefarious going on in those rooms.
Yeah, fair enough. But I mean, in their defense, they're not all men. There's several women. It's quite a few women, actually.
Girls can be evil too.
This
is an equal world.
You're right. Marjorie Taylor Greene is a great example. That is one evil woman, bro. I was watching her today, man. That lady is. Oh my God. Anyway, that lady is pure evil, dude.
Yeah.
yeah. Anyways, I
kind of fuck with her.
I mean, she's evil in a hot way, though. I'm not gonna lie, bro. She's very attractive in that way. But
you know what they say about crazy girls?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, the crazier the girl, the better the pancakes in the morning.
Okay,
that's how it goes. They put chocolate chips.
I've heard the same. I've heard the same.
That's what I'm saying. Anyway, so where was I going with that?
You were saying that it's the board. You were looking.
Oh,
into
right.
The board
So I was looking into the board. They're all very, very wealthy. They did not want it to go down, so they adopted what they called was a poison pill. And the way that poison pill was meant to work is when if he, let's see, what was it? If he bought above something like 15%, they were going to flood the market with shares, making it less valuable, right? So it would make it so he would have to buy more shares, and it would make it damn near impossible, or it would make it less worth his time or less worth the effort. He would have to put in so much money to buy the shares, and that it'd be a crazy, stupid amount of money to do it.
Okay, see, now that puts me under the impression that they had no say as to how much of the company Elon Musk could buy. As of last week, what I was reading
that is correct.
Was because he was going to be on the board, and a part of the statutes of him being on the board was he couldn't buy more than 15%. So did he turn down the board position in order to buy the company?
I think he. That's a great question. I need to go back and find that out. But I do think he did actually turn down the board position. Gotcha. But yeah, so I do. But yeah, they took the poison pill. They ended up doing that, and then he still put the offer out on the table. I thought it was squashed as well. I thought it wasn't going to go anywhere. And then it turns out. So I got the email this morning, or not? Yeah, I saw it in Wall Street Journal this morning. Yeah. And I was very happy for him.
Yeah.
Very happy.
All right. So you like the move?
I like the move because
why do you like the move?
Free speech.
Free speech. You're a proponent of free speech.
I am definitely a proponent of free speech.
And Elon Musk is an advocate of it?
He's very much of an advocate. As a matter of fact, in the article in the Wall Street Journal that was posted today, he is quoted saying, "I hope that even my worst critics remain on Twitter because that is what free speech means."
Yeah, man. See, I fuck with that.
Yeah, that's how it should be. Public discourse, man.
Yeah, 100%. What's that saying? It's a really typical cliche saying, but It was made by some nigga in the 1700s. Probably a slave owner, who knows? But he did have this bit of wisdom. And I think it went...
Don't trust them old niggas over yonder.
That too.
They eat so much chicken it'll make you want to die.
He said, I might not agree with what you say, but I'll defend to the death your right to say it.
Oh, that was...
Was it Garrison Hurst? Garrison Hurst. That was a 49er back in the 90s.
Bro,
I'm sorry.
no, I think it might have been something
Garrison Williams Hurst. William Hurst Garrison. Who was it? You said Samuel Adams?
Hold on. Let me find out exactly who it was. It was Voltaire.
Voltaire? Who? Sounds like a French dude.
I think it was a French dude. Let me find out exactly who it was. I apologize.
It's all good. It's all good. But you know, I really stand by that principle. And so for Elon Musk to kind of uphold the same principle, I'm a huge advocate of this move. I think it's nothing but good, especially in the light of our conversation at the Sucker Factory, where there were a couple people on that discussion that weren't necessarily in agreement with the range of free speech that I feel that we should have. And Elon Musk is going to be, I guess, shifting the tide on what has become a very sensitive, very excuse my language, pussy boy type approach to life in general, where it's like, oh, somebody said something that offended me, therefore kill that nigga.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Or at least his public persona.
Okay, gotcha.
You know, if you don't like it, don't listen to him. Unsubscribe, unfollow, say something on your own platform to disparage him or to at least to counter his or her point. But as far as taking people offline, I don't think that's the best move, the best approach, the best solution for that problem. Elon Musk, from what I've heard, the couple of things that he's planning on doing with this platform or owning this platform is to introduce an edit button, which will allow people who post something who might have a change of heart or, just may have been operating more emotionally at the time, can go back, change their words up, delete it or whatever. Which I like and kind of don't like. I mean,
You're
I
right.
say if you put it out there, you gotta live with it.
Yeah, I mean, but then again, 10, 15 years down, look at Kevin Hart. You know what I'm saying? What they did to him for the Oscars.
That's true.
So where do you draw the line?
But I still think I'm still a proponent of that should be public information. If you put it out there on a public sphere, then people should be able to see what you said.
Good point.
And leave it up to them whether the words or the tweets show you in a good light or not.
Yeah.
Allow them to introduce some critical thinking and take everything into context.
That's like
he did say that, but I think I know him a little better. I've seen his evolution. I can disregard that comment, I can weigh that into this conversation because he do be saying some
really wildly ass shit.
Yeah, some wild shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? For better or for worse, if you put it out there, let the public be the critical thinkers that I know we're capable of being.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree. And to your point, it's like that. It's like the Joe Rogan nigger conversation where he was saying the word. They found a clip of it, or they put together a clip of him saying it. I don't know how many times, over and over again. But I mean, I have personally.
Would you like to live in a world where you did not know that information?
No, you're absolutely right.
You would want to know that information.
Yeah, but
even if you continue, which I think you have, to listen to Joe Rogan because you've been able to assess.
Yeah, I support Joe
persona,
Rogan 100%. I think definitely he may have been a little ignorant in the way that he was doing it, and even so, he might have been a little, maybe even some of those times he said it on purpose and in an asshole-ish way, knowing what he was doing. But I've definitely seen his growth as an individual, at least in the public space over the years. And I'm comfortable with where he's at now, and I think that his stance on free speech, as well as a couple of other topics, really resonate with me personally. So yeah, I still fuck with him, and I was able to make that decision. But I'm glad, like you said, I'm glad that I had that information.
100%, man.
Yeah, and then to go back to that saying, it was actually Francois Marie Aret who wrote that saying, but she attributed it to Voltaire as one of his principles in a book that she had written a long, long time ago in 1778, and so that's when she died. So the book was written in 1758. Excuse me.
Okay.
But yeah, so she essentially said, and she was trying to embody one of Voltaire's principles by saying, I may not agree with what you say, but I will defend to the death your right to say it.
That's a real one right there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's what we need, man.
That's right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But yeah, and I think that's very important, and I think that's what Elon Musk is doing. He's defending our right for free speech. Of course, I don't know. The only thing that I've ever disagreed with Elon Musk on is the name that he gave to his child. But other than that, there's not really a whole lot I disagree with him on. Maybe his manipulation of the stock market, but hey, man, he's just a savvy, although albeit darkly underhanded person in that regard.
Yeah, it's a little
shady, pretty shady. But people should definitely be doing research and be, you shouldn't be making decisions like that anyway based off of a public figure. Well, that's your money, man. Don't.
I mean, because you can make the argument that, if you're going to punish that man for that, and I know the SEC rules are different from general law, but if that is going to be the standard, which I kind of agree with, you shouldn't be fooling people or bamboozling people. You can pull that card on so many other corporations that do the American public harm, such as the food corporations. They put all types of corn syrup and shit like that in there.
Exactly. Yeah.
Now with cigarette companies, they're forced to put a warning label on their cigarettes because cancer is known to come from chronic smokers.
Or free range chickens. Right, free range and like all of those keywords that they put on there, those words, what are those trigger words that they put on those packaging?
Right.
They don't mean what you think they mean.
Exactly.
Right, so free range and cage free and organic and all of those things. You have to do a little bit more research into what those mean because they don't mean exactly what you think that they do.
Right. So if you're going to hold Elon Musk to that standard, just
you gotta hold everybody.
This parallels the conversation that we were having earlier, where if you're gonna hold LeBron James to a standard of scrutiny, hold these crooked ass devils in the White House to that same level of scrutiny.
Yeah, breach,
you know what I'm saying? If you're gonna put this same, we seem to put our celebrities under the microscope a lot more than the people that are supposed to represent our well-being, which is it's infuriating.
Well, because there are celebrities, right? So they're the influence is there, right? It's like the look over here. Look at this hand.
Right.
Well, don't look at this hand, but just look at this hand.
Which falls back into the hands of the media.
Yeah, this is absolutely true.
The media is just, you know what I'm saying? With all your media outlets out there, audience, except for the Bronze Room. we try to be taken in with a grain of salt.
We try to come as unbiased. I think we have a pretty balanced view. You lean more on the liberal side. I lean a little bit more on the central conservative side.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm glad to hear that.
Absolutely.
I thought I was much more of the conservative.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
But conservatives have a bad rap.
Okay.
So I'm glad that I'm the more liberal one.
Well, definitely, I think. Well, that's interesting.
I think I waver.
Yeah, I think you do. I think we both waver in some regards. But yeah, so I would consider you a little bit more on the liberals with some of your views, and I guess I'm a little bit more liberal with some of my views. You're more conservative with some of your views. Yeah. I think we both, we kind of balance it out. So we kind of we try to have a pretty balanced and objective conversation about it, but we're both still biased.
Yeah.
We still got our bias. I still love Salma Hayek's titties. I'm a biased individual, so everybody go watch that movie. She's so beautiful.
She's a phenom.
She is amazing, bro.
She's like almost 60, right?
I have no idea. I don't care.
I don't care. I wouldn't care.
You know what I'm saying?
I wouldn't bat an eye.
I wouldn't.
I wouldn't think twice.
I wouldn't think. I would just go and suffocate myself in those. I don't know how many D's there are, but there's very plenty.
This There's a couple D's.
There's a couple D's.
At least.
Yeah, at least. You know what I'm saying? You know, and so all I'm saying is I just want to scrape my head on accident and run to her.
She's great.
And say, Salma, I hurt my head.
If anybody in the audience knows Selma Hayek, let her know that she's invited to be a guest here on the Bronze Room.
Absolutely.
At the Bronze Room, we accept all types of perspectives.
This is true.
And backgrounds.
This is absolutely true. Yes.
And front grounds.
And I see what you did there.
Let me stop.
Yeah, because we're going to ruin our chance with Salma. You got to cut it out. But yeah, shout out to Salma Hayek. You really are an amazing actress, though. Like, for real, 100%. I really do love her work. And she's just beautiful, man. She's gorgeous. Yeah. So yeah, shout out to Salma, and then shout out to Ryan Reynolds, bro, and Samuel L. Jackson. Ryan Reynolds is actually the guy can do no wrong, bro. I mean, yeah, not only that, but in the social, social service, aspect.
I don't know much about it.
Bro, I mean, the guy has his own cellular company. That this makes cheap cell phones, and he like gives them out to like poorer countries and things like that. I mean, the guy's
stand-up dude.
Yeah, he's a pretty stand-up dude. Yeah, and his wife Blake Lively is beautiful.
See, now I don't know much about Blake Lively.
I don't know much about her
What
either.
movies was she in?
The one where she was acting.
Is she in like Van Helsing?
I don't know if she's in Van Helsing. I'm sure if I saw her in the movie, I would recognize her. And this is not to say anything about her acting or anything, because I'm sure she's a wonderful actress. Yeah. But I just don't remember a whole lot of movies off the bat. She just wasn't in my wheelhouse.
Well, I'm just going to assume that Ryan Reynolds is cleaning up. So I'm assuming that Blake Lively, whoever she is, is drop dead gorgeous.
She is very gorgeous. Very gorgeous. Yeah.
But prior to this marriage, he was married to somebody else. He was married to Colin Jost's
he was married to Scarlett Johansson?
He was married to Scarlett Johansson. I believe they have a child together.
What?
Now, take that with a grain of salt, audience, because I'm not sure, but I believe that is true.
She's throwing out a lot of names today. Adoptions and...
A little liberal. I fact-checked the adoption thing. That was bullshit.
Okay, at least we got that, though. That's funny. Man, that would have been dope, though, because, there would have been a chance for me.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying?
There still could be.
Yeah. Hey, you never know.
Anyways. Her and Colin Jost might not work out, bro.
Yeah, this is true. Yeah. Scarlett, if you're listening.
She's really pretty.
But yeah, shout out to Elon. We wish you the best.
Congratulations. I hope you steer the ship in the right direction.
Exactly.
Giving way to free speech across the platform.
I'm interested.
The edit button. What else is he vowing, or is he kind of proposing that he'll introduce? Do you know? Other than the edit thing?
I can follow back up with that in a later episode, but I don't know off the bat. I'm just I just know what he's the platform that he's standing on. Yeah.
Now I'm going to ask you something. You can feel free to say no to this. This is a co-hosted operation.
Okay.
If it was up to me, I would be airing this out. But I do want to play a little snippet of something from one of our presidents from the not too distant past that highlights what happens if you do have something that can edit past speeches, past audio. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Of somebody important.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, play it through.
I stumbled upon this a couple years ago. It was in the news, but only for like a split second.
Yeah, I think I may know what you're talking about. It sounds like there's an edited video.
Ronald Reagan on a call to, I think, one of his delegates at the UN.
Okay.
In Africa. It's a minute clip.
Okay. All right.
And I think the point will be made pretty soon.
Pictures along the way, and last night I tell you to watch that thing on television as I did. Yeah. To see those monkeys from those African countries. Damn them, they're still uncomfortable wearing shoes.
Well, and then the tail wags the dog there, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The tail wags the dog. Yeah.
Please give some thought to this. I think it would be very dramatic, and I think if the United States just continues business as usual in the UN with this, I think, I just think our people are going to be terribly disappointed, and I think here's a chance for Uncle Sam to just slap their wrist. We're there. We can express our views and debate. but they're just not important enough for us to vote on them.
Essentially, though, what the president, the late, I won't say great, the late president was saying was he was calling some of his African delegates or some of the African people that he was negotiating with over a particular deal. He was calling them monkeys. He was calling them, I believe he uses the N-word. I could be wrong on that. Don't quote me on that. But I'm sure that if he had an edit button,
he would want to
he would
edit
have edited that out.
Absolutely.
And we would have been disallowed the opportunity to see an accurate version of who our representatives are.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. I mean, I will say, I mean, that is definitely a sign of the times, right? You know, that's definitely a sign of the times.
That's a sign of the present.
I mean, I don't hear...
Not to be cynical. But
No, yeah, but you're not going to have a whole lot of people calling people monkeys nowadays. Like,
yeah, but I think the sentiment will probably be expressed in different verbiage.
Right, yeah. So the sentiment's the same, the words are different. Yeah. I get what you're saying. Yeah, no, I bet he would have wanted to rewind and edit that and change that in as many ways as possible. But yeah. So
yeah.
That being said, before we wrap up, Chris, do you have a vibe of the week?
I do.
What's your vibe of the week?
This vibe of the week really helped me out this weekend. Sometimes you go through things that aren't that make it a little tough. And so my vibe of the week, I want to make a special shout out to cherry almond cordial ice cream. I think I'm pronouncing that right.
Okay.
I'm sorry. It's not cherry almond. It's cherry amaretto.
Okay.
Cherry amaretto cordial ice cream.
Where can I find this?
You can find that at your local grocery store, Vons in particular, Ralph's in particular.
Those
I'm
are like
sure
your two
Kroger's
favorite.
if you out from the South or Midwest or whatever.
Whatever the fuck you from.
Wherever the fuck you from. Yeah, cherry amaretto ice cream, man. This shit was so good, and it really helped to lift my spirits up.
Nice. I didn't know you were going through this week.
Yeah, man. You know, just a short, brief little thing. But,
you okay though? You ain't got to talk about it on there.
I'm doing much better.
Okay.
Much
All
better.
right, I dig that.
All thanks to cherry amaretto.
Hey, Cherry, look, shout out to you with your lactose ass. Your fine cherry ice creamery ass. That's beautiful. That's definitely a great vibe of the week.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So my vibe of the week is actually a song. And let me make sure that I get the name of the song correct before I throw it out there. And the song is "Lovely Day."
Hey,
yes, sir.
I
Yes,
love
sir.
that song.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. "Lovely Day" by Bill Withers. Wrote that song. And speaking, I was going through a little bit myself, Chris, past couple of days. So I know what you feel, and that definitely picked my spirits up personally. So yeah. So shout out to Bill Withers, man. I mean, such a phenomenal artist. He was definitely had a great influence on my life growing up, and especially in the music world. I mean, gospel. There's been gospel versions of that song. I think Kirk Franklin did a version of that song. Not too long, well, kind of long ago, decades ago, but it still rings out today. Yeah. So that was my vibe of the week. Lovely Day by Bill Withers.
Yeah, I really, really like that song.
Yeah.
My first time hearing that song was when I was in the 6th grade. It was at a school fair, and it wasn't even the Bill Withers version. It was the Too Short remix.
Oh, okay. Damn, I forgot.
And my first time hearing it, I thought it was the original, of course, but I was like, whoa, this is the shit.
Yeah.
Right here. Yeah. Great song.
Yeah, great song. I forget sometimes, and I don't know why I always forget until you bring it back up that you grew up in the Bay.
That must mean I'm not rocking it as flamboyantly as I should be. Well, and I'm glad that you brought my attention to that. I'm going to be changing that.
All right, we go
immediately.
Right, we go see with one pant leg up, and all the stereotypes.
Bringing back all the hyphy.
There you go. Shit. Oh, man. No, I think it just means
24-hour E40s playing from now on.
I think it just means you've acclimated very well to the rest of California.
It's one of my strengths.
Yeah.
Acclimating, adjusting, adapting to environments.
Okay. Yeah. So that's
a survival tactic.
That's not a bad strength to have. It's not a bad.
Yeah. If I was an X-Men, I'd be
Mystique.
Oh man, I thought it was gonna be somebody a little more badass than that. Although she is badass.
She is badass, but nobody else really acclimates like she does.
I'm gonna cling to my cisness.
Your cisgenderness.
I was hoping for a strong male lead, but I'll take Mystique.
Mystique, yeah, Mystique. Yeah, because nobody else is a shapeshifter. She's the only shapeshifter in X-Men.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah, and then Wolverine just sticks out everywhere. Everybody always wants to fight Wolverine.
Well, I mean, actually, no. I was gonna say he's pretty fightable, but no, I would never fuck with Wolverine.
I wouldn't fuck with Wolverine.
That's like the last X-Men I would fuck with.
He doesn't die. Right. He has claws that are made of titanium. Antimanium. What's the word?
Titanium.
It's not titanium. It's antimanium.
It's an alloy that's stronger than titanium.
Yes, it's stronger than titanium.
Golly.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
A fucking killing machine.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't fuck with him.
He was a creation. Did you know that?
He was a creation.
He was an experimentation.
Well, he originally had claws, right?
But bone.
They were bone. Exactly.
So he could break as easily as you and I.
Exactly.
I think.
Well, no, they were very strong. But
bone.
he could, and if it did break, he would just regenerate them.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Right, because he was regenerative. Yeah, exactly. Right. So and then he went to whatever the doctor's name was, and he experimented on him.
Right.
Stryker. Yeah, Stryker's ass. Got a hold of him and experimented on him right before World War II. I think it was. Yeah, I think it was somewhere around there. And if I'm getting this wrong, all of my comic experts out there, please feel free to correct me.
Yeah, correct us.
Yes, sir. We are more than happy to have the discourse. Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, and then we got adamantium. Adamantium, that's what it is. Adamantium. Adamantium.
Animaniacs?
Look, I'm not gonna say it slower because adamantium. That's how I'm saying. But yeah, Animaniacs, great show. But yeah, that's how we did it.
All right.
Yeah,
well, those are the vibes of the week.
Those are the vibes of the week. We thank you guys for joining us again, and we will see you next week on another episode of The Bronze Room.